And welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. What are you having this evening?
Oh, you know, me hanging out with Mr. Tito's. Mr. Nick, you tell the people what you're drinking and our three things for the show.
I'm drinking my J-Lore Cabernet Sauvignon. As per usual, as you like to say, well, Toni Storm has made history in AEW. The Final Four have qualified for the Elimination Chamber 2025, and Solo Sikoa has taken out Tonga inadvertently. It's Friday, February 21st, 2025. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
To the 3 to the 4. Tell him bring another round when he's let it go. Two stepping on the table, she don't need a dance floor. Oh my, good lord. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey. They know me and Jack Daniels got a history. There's a party downtown near Fifth Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
Welcome back in. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. If you are new here, welcome in. Hit the old like and subscribe. If you are a regular, we love having you. Welcome back. Nikki, it's been a week.
It's been a week.
It's been a fun week.
The longest short week ever.
Short week. That's it. Well, yeah. Any overall thoughts before we get into an action-packed show?
No, we have so much to talk about. Let's get into it.
Get into it. All right. Well, Nikki, we always open with your favorite segment and mine. The newest segment, as we open with Nikki's non-kayfabe news.
Have I been doing this segment for over 6 months yet? Because after the 6 month mark, you're not allowed to call it new anymore.
Well, I didn't know there was a time.
Well, FDA regulations, baby. But let's get into it. So first off, last week we talked about people leaving AEW. Now we're talking about someone who basically everyone's saying is going to go to AEW. Mr. Josh Alexander finally out of his TNA contract. He tried to get out last year, but they had whatever, they have that option year. So they opted to make him stay for another year, and he clearly wasn't happy about it. Had his last match, did everything kind of right by TNA. Like, my contract's done. I'm going to shimmy out of here. And everyone's saying, like, Fightful Meltzer is saying he's going to go to AEW. The rumor was that he got, it's not a manager, but like a talent. He signed with Barry Bloom, who basically got all the AEW kids a crap ton of money, like the Bucks, Hangman, somebody else. But basically they were saying he was just going to go with whoever was offering more money.
So he's like the Drew Rosenhaus.
Oh, Jesus, Mary.
Or the, oh my gosh, just baseball season. Scott Boras, equivalent, the power agent of the wrestling industry, would you say? Is that fair?
Sure. I don't know your baseball references.
Well, would you say he's a power agent in the wrestling industry? You're saying he's got
yes. Barry Bloom, yes. I just didn't know any of these. So basically Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp was basically saying he's gonna go wherever it gives him more money. And it seemed like again, kind of why people sign with AEW, kind of getting more money and getting a lighter schedule. So basically kind of TBD when, they got Revolution coming up on the March 9th, which is only 2-3 weeks away. Does he debut there? They tend to debut a lot of bigger names at the big pay-per-views.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what I was hoping he would go to WWE because I thought him with I know he's not but we call him American Alpha again. Now
Are you telling me he should be
American Made? Like I thought that group of wrestlers that he would be cool with and we're feuding against them to be kind of
him and Chad Gable.
Yeah, Chad Gable. The Chad Gable stable. # Chad Gable stable. I thought he would have been fit in really nicely there because I feel like just WWE does better with the natural amateur wrestlers and bringing them in.
I think kind of to his credit though, like you have your Chad Gables and the Alpha Academy. AEW doesn't kind of have that kind of, I want to say like Greco-Roman actual wrestling sort of style. Definitely at the top of the card or mid card or anywhere on the card to be. I don't think there's. Again, you just brought up Chad Gable, and I feel like there would be kind of too many. I don't know, they're too similar. I guess I think he kind of stands out a little bit more in AEW as this character.
I mean, there's a few more. I just feel like it's built in WWE, so the feuds are built in for him. So you have people to feud with. You have to do it a little differently. I don't know. I think he'll get a pretty big push there for sure. And as former world champion, he's going to get some notoriety, and clout coming in. So I'm interested to see what they do with him. Who could he?
Not like that. Not like I wouldn't love a match between him and Chad Gable, 100,000%. But I think it is more interesting to see a different styles clash against each other. When you see him, like with the likes of Moxley or someone like Big Bill or Powerhouse Hobbs.
Hobbs, yeah.
Him and Hobbs would be super fun. Again, like someone like an MJF or Hangman. Kind of was, I guess not. I mean, someone like the likes of Christian.
I just feel like, I don't know. Again, you have to go somewhere where you can build up personality and you would have it like AEW is not the greatest place for the charisma to be built up yet. So I'm hoping he'll show. That's why I would like to see him in WWE. I thought he had more of an upside there. But again, we'll see in time. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. Like, what do you want to see, or where do you want? Well, we know where he's expected to go, but who do you want to see Josh Alexander feud with? Should he, join up with? It seems like everyone in AEW joins up with a stable at some point in time. Where could he be a guy that maybe I hate to say just Don Callis can scoop up everybody?
Yeah, no. Honestly, he can take the belt off Garcia. He's not doing anything with that belt.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a hardcore watcher of Collision, but Collision's taped, by the way, this week.
Yes.
But again, if you want more money in a lighter schedule, not mad at it. When he's kind of used to having the TNA schedule that they do blocks of taping, and their house show schedule is lighter. Not saying WWE has slowed down their house show loops.
Right. I don't know.
He doesn't want to put in the work.
He's making a decision that's best for him and his family, which
which he has said that, because they I believe him and his wife have a young child, on the younger side. I would say 1 to 3.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think too. So we'll see. We'll see. I think we will see him pretty soon, pretty shortly on AEW TV. So let us know in the comments below, where do you want to see him start his AEW journey? If that's where Josh Alexander is truly headed.
Is there? I guess we'll predict Revolution when we get there, but I'm sure there's gonna be some ladder match, casino gauntlet, get a chip in a chair shot. That there's gonna be some mystery. Could he be a Joker coming in, or a surprise in a ladder match?
Could he be I could think, to your point with the MJF, could he be a hired gun from MJF and then eventually go after MJF in some sort, all of his.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that match at Revolution. Again, we'll I guess get there when we get there, but part of me really loves Hangman MJF because I really incredibly love the two of them. I don't think either of them can lose that match.
Yeah.
Should lose that match.
We're gonna get to that.
I know we got
shortly.
some
That's
time,
gonna be a
but
real
I don't.
interesting, dilemma as we preview next week. We're gonna 2 weeks. We're gonna preview Revolution, but next week we're previewing the Elimination Chamber. So got a lot going on, a lot to get through. But yeah, Josh Alexander expected to sign AEW. We'll see shortly where he makes his AEW debut and what who he goes after and who his feud is with. So very interesting. Nikki.
The second bit of news, which I hate. Again, our regulars know I am not a fan of The Rock. But a press release went out yesterday that The Rock is going to be at SmackDown tonight. And then Triple H said in the press release, it was like, oh, when The Rock comes to town, you never know what's going to happen. Everything can change. And then I guess the rumor is because they are in New Orleans tonight for SmackDown that next year's WrestleMania and WrestleMania 42 is supposed to emanate from New Orleans again. Again, they did WrestleMania WrestleMania 30, WrestleMania 34, and now it should be 42. That is the thing, because again, now everyone's like, oh my God, like with Triple H saying, you never know what's going to happen. Everything can flip on a dime when The Rock comes. Again, like he almost ruined, I don't think ruined, but if he took that shot away from Cody, anywho's, but again, like Steve Rod said in the thing, he's supposed to I don't want to say star, he's probably not the star, but in a Martin Scorsese movie. So, and then he also said that if he was going to wrestle at WrestleMania, he needs 9 weeks of intense training, and this is 9 weeks, baby. So, is he throwing his hat into the ring? Is he going to disrupt some plans? Is he going to fight Cody? I don't know, but I'm hoping it's just The Rock to come out and announce WrestleMania. Again, we thought he was this heel, and then SmackDown, Raw debuted on Netflix, and then he was a good guy, giving his flowers to Cody, that he was like drunk on NXT the next night, and was like, oh, everyone's like, oh, don't be mad to Cody, and then don't be nice to Cody. Wow. So it's just like, I don't know where The Rock stands. I don't think you need to insert him into WrestleMania. Again, I think last year was such an incredible build-up and fun 2 matches. Well, let's just put a bow on that.
We will get to that later as we get to our SmackDown preview as we move along. But WrestleMania is coming to New Orleans.
It's not official yet. They didn't officially announce it.
But they will officially soon.
Hopefully.
So, unofficially official, but you heard it here first. So when it happens, we broke the news, not any of these other podcasts that you may or may not listen to.
We broke the news in Nikki's news.
Yeah, Nikki's news, breaking news.
Hit my music.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Nikki's news. She's a demanding.
I give you all these perfect hit and be like, mic drop, hit my music, and you're like,
yeah. Well, it's not as easy. There's a lot of things here on the production side. We're producing it. This is a self-run show here. We're producing it and hosting it and directing it, dealing with all the
Nick
has talent. Getting it. I'm an EVP of talent relations here, and that is a lot. It's a lot of work.
He has production meetings by himself, and I just show up, and then I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. Yeah. And I give you these beautiful layups, and I just want you to dunk it, and you just don't.
And I just say this:
yes, queen.
Where's my hand at?
Well, Nikki, we move along to. Well, I'm glad you mentioned. It was actually a perfect segue from Nikki's news talking about WrestleMania, because we are now in, like we said, WrestleMania season. So we are bringing back, last year it was the first year for the show, so we are bringing back a concept because March is right around the corner. March Madness is a very big thing in the United States, at least. And we were going to rank, last year we did our own brackets. This year we're doing WrestleMania Madness. And what we're going to do is we're going to have all 40 main events of WrestleMania in a bracket, and we're going to have every one of our audience vote on it, ourselves included. Each main event ranked, and at the end we will have one winner of what was the greatest main event, WrestleMania main event in history of the 40s. So it's going to be a fun one. I think it'll be a lot of debate. It stirs up a lot of debate on our side. So I'm excited for WrestleMania Madness. And those are the rules. So next week we will have the play-in round. So there will be 8 teams, four matchups, or 8 matches, 4 matchups. So as we get through, here are the rankings. We had some little AI help us here on some of the rankings because there's a lot of WrestleManias to get through and a lot of main events. But a lot of matches I didn't realize were main events too along the way. So the first 4 play-in rounds next week.
No, you say play-in rounds like people are supposed to know what that means.
Oh, so I'll explain. So
you were explaining it to me. I was like, you're talking basketball. I literally have no idea what you mean.
So play-in, you win, you get voted. So we're gonna start the votes next week. So for instance, I don't know if this is the seeding right now, but King Kong Bundy against The Miz and John Cena. King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania. Sorry, you're throwing me off with it. So King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan was the main event.
I want King Kong Bundy versus Miz in that old school blue cage immediately.
That's exactly what we're doing. So,
I love you.
I love you. You make things. Hey, so the main event match of that year's WrestleMania, King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan versus the main event match of, I'm blanking on the WrestleMania, the Miz versus John Cena. And that's one of the lower seeded matches. So those two go against each other. We're going to vote on it. And whatever we thought was the better match or we like better, we'll move on into the bracket. Does that make sense?
Yes. So your walk-ons, walk-ins, play-ins are the lower, according to GPT, like the lower rankings of matches.
27. There's the Miz. And next is King Kong Bundy still alive? Are we doing the Miz, King Kong Bundy
no,
next year?
No, not.
Machine. But I thought you still alive. But regardless, so next week, along with doing our Elimination Chamber preview, we're going to begin WrestleMania Madness. So we'll take a look at some of the seeds or some of the matchups for next week and get you a little preview of this. So get ready. I know you love this song.
I love this song. Too late.
But regardless, so next week starts WrestleMania Madness.
No, you always have fun little games. It takes me 4 years to understand it, but when we do it, it's fun.
Yeah, it'll be a blast. So we're excited about that. So Nikki,
yes,
we go into our actual kayfabe related news, recapping and reviewing this week in wrestling. So we're going to kind of combine a little bit of last week's SmackDown, Valentine's Day SmackDown, which some of the overall events that happened, and some of Monday Night Raw. Because generally speaking, as we roll along towards Elimination Chamber, we saw the final 4 qualify for the Elimination Chamber match. Nikki, the final 4 have qualified. What are your thoughts on the final 4 participants in the Elimination Chamber?
I feel like there's honestly kind of no surprises to me. I know we would all wanted to see Jacob, but I guess it kind of makes more sense to have Priest in there. I think probably Jacob can interfere, or what actually happened. I don't know if they're going a different way with him for Mania. But again, looking at the 6 of them, that's kind of I don't want Damian Priest to seem like the odd one out, because he was world heavyweight champion. But like those are the 6 heavy hitters right there.
Yeah, I think for sure. Yeah, Jacob would have been. It would have been nice to me to see like the Tama, the storyline that we're going to talk about a little later that played out on SmackDown with the new bloodline kind of crumbling, so to speak, to take place at Elimination Chamber, and let that big moment that happened on SmackDown take place at Elimination Chamber for them, and have Jacob in this match. But yeah, everyone here is a former world, except for Logan Paul.
Yeah. So
So is it a former world champion or someone who could be, the next world champion? So this match is going to have a lot of spots. In terms of those that qualified, and the 4 matches that happened, yeah, I thought, again, Jacob always looks great in a lot of those in those matches. The triple threat looked good on SmackDown. Overall, we talked about this last week with, oh my gosh, Lyra, right? Like you had your mid-card champion lose to Naomi to get her in, kind of weak to some extent. It's going to be interesting to me. The other factor too is that now with Naomi, Bianca, right, and also seemingly, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on it?
I don't know where you're going. We're like,
well, oh wait, no, not really. It feels like there's multiple people, right, that are going after Liv in this match that I think that don't really have that particular, like, they have ill will toward Liv. So I'm curious to see with Liv Morgan in this match if they're going to play some sort of angle with her and Raquel Rodriguez where like she can kind of who was it? I was blanking on who hid in the corner of the Elimination Chamber that one year. Someone that was just waiting for their spot, and it was someone that was supposed to, like, Triple H did it one time against Goldberg, and Goldberg broke the chamber. Maybe it was that.
There's the one time I believe Sheamus got stuck. And then there's one time that Mark Henry's pod broke before he was supposed to come out. And I feel like there also was like a time that like Miz didn't come out when his thing opened.
Yeah, it's one of them, but I thought there was another one. Maybe it was just a Triple H one, but where someone was hiding in the corner of the chamber, and I'm really blanking. But like I could see Liv doing something like that, and that'd be kind of like a nice spot just kind of keep, because to me, presumably, right, we're going to find out Jade's attacker at some point in time. So you have, which we speculate is either one of Naomi or Bianca. There's so many heels in this match, like everyone but Alexa and Bayley. Well, I know. Right now, I guess Bianca and.
No, I don't. I think the only heel there's 2. There's because I don't think
Roxanne. They played her as like on Raw. They kind of played her as a baby face.
I don't necessarily think so. No, because when she was feuding with Bayley, she's the heel in it. And again, her pop rocks looks terrible. Like
she did it
on Raquel. She can't hit it on it needs to be her size or smaller, and which is hard because she's 5'2". Yeah. But like it did not look good, and I'm not a huge fan of I don't know, her as a finish, and it just looked really bad on Raquel.
Yeah, because you need to do like a spring, like a pop with it.
Yeah, and I don't think there's enough room for Raquel to help her with that.
It served its purpose that there's supposed to be chaos in the finish of the match, and that's kind of how she just like stole, because it is a weird. It's a roll up. if you don't hit it with like a jump, it's a roll up.
Yeah,
it's it's supposed to be performed like the Canadian Destroyer in some ways, I think. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you're flopping.
You
really
need
violently.
who you're doing it to flip kind of, or, you know, like we're such wrestlers. But yeah, like you need someone to help. Again, as you're a partner, you're doing a dance. You need someone to help you get over. And if there's, I guess, because Raquel is so much taller, there was not enough, I don't think, enough room for her to fully rotate to get Roxanne over. Or Roseanne, whatever you want to call her.
Roseanne Perez? Yes. Roseanne Perez. That's what
Lillian
would love to call her.
Again, I know, like,
Roseanne!
I can't talk to save my life, clearly. But, like, if I, like, she kills me sometimes.
No, it's definitely...
But I think
she's adjusting.
But I think putting, again, because I know we're going to talk about Chamber next week, and we're just talking about people that qualified. I kind of think it makes sense, again, whatever they happen, or I think now that Vengeance Day is done, and maybe she'll have the matches Stand and Deliver, but I think Roxanne is just on main at this point. So it kind of make, again, her with her performance in the Royal Rumble, again, I don't think she's going to win, but I think it's someone that you can...
Oh, they're giving her a hell of a push.
Put her in a pod, have her come out, she's probably like third or something, and have like, I don't know, someone like maybe
You let her be like kind of like an Iron Woman again in the pod. You know, like have her start.
Or you can have her start. All right. Either way, I think she's gonna be in the match for a while, but not win. But I think kind of post Mania, she's gonna be. I see her taking the belt off Lyra. Because I feel like, to me, that's also a built-in story because they were feuding on NXT.
That's fair. Yeah, and well, they've been seemingly doing that a lot lately. Because again, they have good chemistry. You might as well bring it up to the main roster and work with it as much as you can. So, yeah. So again, those are the four that did qualify: Damian Priest, Naomi, Roxanne, and then later in the evening we do see Seth freaking Rollins on Finn Balor, which a rematch of their Universal title match.
Which is the rematch from the other match when he came out in the jacket that in that SummerSlam match. Obviously, I know Seth is going to win. Everyone knows I adore Seth Rollins. What are they doing with Finn Balor? He has lost. Again, he's won the tag belts with JD. Again, JD's out. I think when JD comes back, he's going to have this babyface push because he, almost died 400 times in that match. Puncture lung, no big deal. But like, what do they do with Finn Balor?
Well, there is thoughts that there's been a proposed Finn Balor AJ Styles match for WrestleMania. I would love that with some sort of belt involved, but
I don't think there's going to be a belt.
Yeah, no, you can put anyone. Like, well, could you? No, because could you throw Finn Balor into the whole Braun Breaker thing, or like Dom Mysterio got speared in that? I think he might get thrown in too.
But I think you maybe can do a big ladder match for the IC. I love having the big ice, like the one at 31 when Daniel Bryan won the IC belts, and then was it 33 when Zack Ryder won? That's what he's been, and it's just like, God, if like the wrestling world would be so different if that buckle bomb didn't happen. He was supposed to go on a run and then KO, and it's just like, as much as I love my Seth, and even Alice now said he doesn't like the buckle bomb. But I just want something more for him, and like I knew it was gonna be Seth. It was always gonna be Seth, and like they had a fun match, but it's just like, I want something more for him. But yeah, if they have a big IC 6-pack challenge or a ladder match or something, then you can throw him in there. Former IC champion.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, again, that also happened on Raw. We saw Penta take another victory with Pete Dunne. So
Peter Dune, I think, and then when Ludwig got involved, so I don't know if that's going to be. Again, you can insert those three right into the IC thing. That's 6 right there.
Yeah,
that could be a fun little ladder match. Penta is pretty well known for ladder matches.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. What do you think? Where do you think everything's going? What are your takeaways from Raw? this past week. A lot of promos going back and forth. Sami Zayn, we didn't really touch on.
And we'll talk about it
Sami
next
Zayn
week.
And Kevin Owens has been announced as an unsanctioned match for Elimination Chamber.
Like, I want you to live. I don't want you to die in this match. But here's your match. It's unsanctioned, so we don't have anything to do. But we'll talk again more Elimination Chamber Shamra's conversation next week.
Rest in peace.
Couldn't do without the drop. But yeah, let us know in the comments below. What were your Raw takeaways? Was there anything we missed? Or as we go in, we'll do some SmackDown previewing and a little bit of our takeaways as we get SmackDown shortly. But yeah, Monday Night Raw was a pretty good one. Go ahead.
No one's to say in the comments, don't bury lead. Hello, welcome back. But like,
hey, don't bury lead.
I think you're missing out not watching. And again, unless you don't have Netflix, I understand. But like, Penta's had some pretty fun matches. Again, he's undefeated right now. They actually let him cut a promo, which I personally love because in AEW, I didn't like him with Alex Abrahantes, and he's like, Penta says, like, Penta just cut a promo, and you're like, oh, he can actually talk if you let him talk. Like, I'm loving his run right now. I think he's gonna have a big run. Again, it would be fun to see him win the I don't know if I want him to take the belt off Braun, but I think he's gonna be on this incredible run for a little bit. I think he's super over with the crowd. Everyone's doing the Zero Miro with him.
Yeah, he's looked strong.
Yeah,
he's booked strong. He's been booked in like triple threat matches, which I think plays well to it. It's kind of that, to be honest, I feel like it's the TNA influence that's been doing a lot, like where like the Guns got that treatment too, where they put him in like triple threat tag matches so they could get all their spots in to look as strong as they really can. And he's looked great. And the thing about him that I think's a little more unique than most is like he's a bigger luchador and high flyer than like, he's not like, I don't know, I feel like Dragon Lee's smaller, like a lot of these guys that like are all the LWO seems like they're like 5'10", and like he's legit like a 6'1", 6'2". Like I could buy, like I always had problems buying into Rey Mysterio as like a main eventer. Like Penta, the way he's being presented in his like his body type is very, like, to me, super believable. I can buy into it all day.
No, they present him like a star. They absolutely present him like a star. Like when he comes out and he does his little La Parker dance and the whole crowd is with him. Like I definitely if you can try to, even on the like YouTube watches matches, I think they've been doing, and I want to watch. He was on, like Sheamus does his Celtic Warrior workout on YouTube, and Penta's on this week, so I want to watch that. But like I think I'm glad he finally got there, and they're treating him proper.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's pulling for him. He says he was great in AEW. He was great in AEW. He just didn't get to do it enough. He stands out from all these. Yeah, and if we see, I hope he gets a run on his own, and then we see Lucha Brothers because it's going to be.
Yeah, and like exciting. They had him do like in AEW when he was like, I don't know, like I know they had a name for him, but like Dark Penta. Yeah, and then like they kind of did nothing with that, and then when he came out at the first Wembley. Whatever match that was, or was it the whatever it was, and he got injured and he went into the back and he came out as like the darker Penta, and I feel like that could have been so much cooler. And I just feel like I think the Lucha Brothers definitely fell out of favor with Toni, and I think I think Penta's getting a bigger push, a bigger spotlight, and he's just like really killing it.
For sure. Welcome in, Lisa. Yeah, so it's been an interesting week on Raw. Again, a lot of promos, a lot of solid matches, though. But we're on the road to WrestleMania, so
you didn't want to talk about your girlfriend.
I don't want to talk about things that want to bring me down. I know. Okay. This is how you know you're a wrestling couple. So literally, I asked Nicole because Monday I couldn't watch the show live because I was traveling, and I asked her, and I'm like, "Hey, what happened on Raw, right? Like, when we get ready for the show, is there any takeaways? Like, what are your takeaways? What's the big thing that happened?" She goes, "Your girl lost." And I said, and I'm like, "Who?" And she's like, Ivy lost. And I was like, and she like lost the number one contention. So that was her big takeaway, is telling me that Ivy Nile lost. Nothing else that happened on Raw was significant enough for her. But
I just
my girl.
I'm giving you the facts of what would you be most interested in? Your girlfriend getting spiked on her head and losing the match. But apparently she posted on Twitter. Oh, you're welcome. I love you.
Unbelievable. Anyway, so I digress. So we move along. So getting us into our AEW portion of the show, our AEW takeaways. Nikki, there's been a lot of news coming from the AEW camp. It's pretty good. Honestly, it's been a good couple of weeks for AEW, a good run for them. But the big takeaway this week, AEW history has been made. Timeless Toni Storm wins for the 4th time the AEW Women's World Title.
And the lightning strikes, another love grows cold on a sleepless night as the storm blows on out of control. Deep in the heart, the thunder
Nikki,
My girl.
what are your thoughts on Toni Storm making history?
So I love it. So I guess tale of two things. Obviously, watching our show, we're very much team Toni Storm. Love Toni Storm. I actually really did like Mariah's run, but they're in Australia. Toni's back is timeless. She was winning that belt. I think it was a fun match. All the Maydays and the Storm Zeros and all the back and forth and like Mariah rolling out of the ring.
I do like the Mayday as a finish.
And I was just like, then it ended in a roll up. And I'm like, what the what? That whole big thing. And then she cuts the promo on Wednesday. And I was like, oh, they literally just did it for her to make the joke about it. When she was like, she was like, basically she told Mariah she should have wore a condom. She's like, things come in small packages, but I gave you like the biggest package of them all. You basically should have wore a condom. And I was like, oh, we're just making penis jokes. Like you literally, the whole match was so fun and a little deflating because of the roll up. But then I really loved the promo that she cut. Because then she was like, oh, if I want to be the best, then I have to fight the best. And then she's talking about she never fought Chris Statlander. She wants to fight Chris Statlander. She brought up I almost said Willow Storm. Willow Nightingale.
Willow Storm.
And then brought up she has this rivalry with Wendy Richter, which cracks me up. And then she's like, if you want to go tit for tit or lip for lip, like, I'm not a hard woman to find. I'm just like, I'm loving this Toni back. And I'm like, I think we put a small bow on her and Mariah for a little bit. And I'm excited to see Toni feud with some other people. Again, I think maybe Chris Statlander can come up because I'm like her and the Mercedes stuff. I guess she's maybe feuding with Megan Bain, but like seeing Toni kind of
another person's getting booked. Really
yeah.
I mean, she just started, but
yeah. But again, like I said this last week when Toni did an interview with Renee Paquette, talking about that she's like excited about this women's division, but want them to do more. So maybe with the belt back on Toni, being a little bit more of a a kind of like a ring general that like can bring up maybe the newer talent to carry to better matches.
Yeah, I mean, my only question about this is like Toni's been great. She's been the best, like arguably the best women's wrestler in AEW. So deservingly, yes. I just wonder, like the conspiracy theorist in me, like wonders, what would have happened if Britt Baker didn't have such a bad relationship go downhill with AEW? Because could this spot have been Britt Baker's? Because 100%, in my opinion, homegrown talent. Like we talked about this with like Mox, like when Mox won for the 4th time and he became like the historical champion. Like to me, it was just interesting that like again, it's a historical moment. Like your first champion, whatever. Like you want. So I feel like you'd want someone homegrown as like an MJF to be your 4-time champion, not John Moxley, someone who's known as an AEW, original through and through. And that's what worries me about, like, that the only downside to it, because she's been great. She's absolutely been great. Like, and you could argue she's been better. Probably could say, yes, she's been better than Britt Baker was. But if Britt Baker didn't have the last year and change that she had with, I think, injuries and everything else.
She was injured and had some medical complications and then came back with issues with Toni. Because whatever backstage of what's real with between her and Ospreay, I don't know. Him and her and MJF had the issue, and then Ospreay tried to mediate and then didn't go anywhere. But I don't know. I know she's not necessarily homegrown, but I don't necessarily associate Toni with WWE because she had such a shit run. Like, the UK stuff was good, but how many people were watching NXT UK back then? And her run on Raw was dog shit. So to me, she's not necessarily AEW homegrown, but she doesn't feel like this, like, WE plant. Like, Cope feels like such a WWE guy that's coming in, and I hate everything about it. I'm sorry to talk on your man, Lise, but I know you agree with me on this. But, like, to me, I don't feel like that with Toni coming in. It's not like this outsider, this other. She's just like, they signed a legit awesome wrestler. And again, like, kind of with, like, Swerve, she's flourishing in AEW more than she ever did in WWE.
I guess when you bring up Swerve, that's a good point. But again, Swerve, the same thing. Like, I would say the same thing about Swerve. Like, if he was the 4-time champion, I'd be like, ugh. But again, if it's someone you build up, I guess I could be.
But when did he get released? Was he 2020 or 2021? Because again, if your company starts in the end of 2019,
I feel like it was 2020.
Again, but they debuted October 2019 or September 2019, and then he comes in a year later and has a better career so far in AEW. Like, I consider more of an AEW guy.
2021, November 2021.
Okay, so to me, I Swerve, again, because if you're watching, like, I wasn't a huge fan of him in NXT. He did Jackal on SmackDown, but to me in AEW, he feels so much bigger. When like we've had, Ed and I've had that conversation, but like, he feels more like an AEW guy to me than WWE. I feel like the same way about Toni. Again, not necessarily homegrown like a Britt or an MJF, but feels more of that ilk than the WWE person just getting splotched in.
You set up the back signal. You said his name.
I know, and Lisa appeared.
I was really disappointed when heard Edge is going to AEW. It's Cope, Lisa. Get it right.
Yeah.
COPE. You got to cope with it. However, the crowd singing his song at the event was awesome. I saw a clip.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That's again awesome, but I just like, I guess that's probably our next week conversation when we talk about, or 2 weeks when we talk about Revolution. Whatever the story going on with the Death Riders and Mox was supposed to be this thing to build up. He's like, I'm taking over AEW. And they had the thing with Danny Garcia that he was supposed to come up and get an AEW fight. And we're doing this for the AEW kids and blah, blah, blah. We're going to save the company from Moxley. And then fucking Cope comes in and he's like, I'm going to take the belt off you, lollies. Like, no, this is not what this is supposed to be. And if Cope takes that belt off Moxley at Revolution, it's going to be like, well, what the fuck was the point of the Death Riders? This whole storyline makes no sense. And it was like, who cares?
Say it. Let me hit it.
Yeah.
Hated it.
I know this was last week, but like, they took the belt off Marina, like they stole the briefcase off Marina, and that's why it was in the briefcase in the first place, because Moxley doesn't care about the belt, and it's not about the belt, and blue. And then they stole the briefcase, and then Edge was like, well, I'm going with briefcases. It's like, ugh. And then he's like, I'll show you how much I care about the belt, and beats it with Spike. And I was like, well, you're not respecting this championship then. Like, who cares if Mox is a 4-time champion when you're not disrespecting the belt 100%?
That's fair.
When we put it back, I'd rather see it back on Swerve or MJF, because like they cared about that belt. I don't know. I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole about crapping on it. And I love Moxley, and I really am not loving this. And Cope can go kick rocks for all I care.
No, I mean, so the other thing that did happen, the other takeaway that again, AEW Dynamite was it's been pretty damn good the last couple of weeks. We saw a pretty solid street fight between Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs, which I feel like that was somewhat of their counter to programming to some extent to like the triple threat that happened on SmackDown with Jacob, Priest.
Oh, two big meaty men.
Yeah.
But to me, like, counter, Big Bill's not, again, he's like 7 foot tall and you can't teach that.
Shit.
But then he, like, it's not meaty to me. Like, meaty, again,
He's a big man. Big man.
Like, I want to see Powerhouse Hobbs versus, I know it's never going to happen, but Powerhouse versus, like, Big E, or Powerhouse versus Bronson Reed. That's, like, meaty men.
Mm.
Like, Big Bill's more toned to me than, like, I don't know.
True. Well,
what's your definition of a meat planet? Let us know.
But so the other thing that happened, and this is where we talked about this the last couple of weeks about like things that keep us watching and interested in AEW and in wrestling, and the character development and things like that. And this week he led off, right? I think he led off with MJF.
Yeah.
Man, and I am still struggling to kind of buy into the feud, but this promo was pretty damn good. It was a little long, but pretty fire in terms of them going back and forth. And like MJF, I think this is more of a testament to MJF than anything else. Like brings this out in everybody that he's with. Like I am struggling to at least cope with Hangman as a face, whatever he is, and like wherever this is going at this point. And I know he's super over and they're trying to but the way that MJF was able to frame the last 6 months, whatever year of Hangman Page's like
like
career.
drinking the blood, doing syringes,
burning the house.
He was like, what people
Christopher Daniels. And you don't talk about him. He's a saint.
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
You hear me?
So again, I get the part with the CD stuff because again they had that match, blah blah blah. But I think it could have just been like the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes, and it was a 22-minute segment. Again, I loved like the last bit. And he's like, "Oh, do you like?" But he's like, "You want them to like you, but do you like you?" And he says, "But a little too much for me." But it was like, "Oh," and then he countered back, and he's like, "Well," and he's like, "What do you have that I don't?" He's like, "I'm real." Like that. The ending was so good. Like the stuff, and there's so much. I feel like most of the promos, again, mostly the men, go like 5 to 10 minutes too long.
You know what's been interesting? I was thinking about this too. Is these like they're talking about like there's a point in time he's like there's something that you're missing, and he's like is there something you still haven't gotten yet that you're waiting for, and he's alluding at like the fans' approval.
Yeah,
and the fans like knew what he's talking about. But like I thought it'd be cool if the crowd how many times do they chant "He's our scumbag" and like that would have been the optimal time to actually do that.
I don't remember where they were, but I felt the crowd was incredibly annoying. Because now I feel like they're back in the smaller venues, and you just hear the crowd more. And there was that one guy, I don't know if I just him being on a hard cam, but you heard this one guy the whole time, and I'm just like, shut up. God, wrestling fans, they can be really annoying. Who would have thought? But I don't know where they were, but I just feel like they were in Bizarro World, and the crowd chants for who you don't want them to chant for. But no, I agree with you. It should have been our scumbag, but I feel like they're slowly turning Hangman back face, really cementing MJF as this still the bad guy, because that's what he said. He's like, oh, I'm fine being the bad guy.
So if you're gonna make him a face, okay, perfectly fine with it. Then to me, this match, the winner of this match has to challenge for the World Title next to make this match worth its weight.
Yeah.
So, and the way everything's been kind of built up over the last X amount of months, 3 to 5, with Danielson losing the belt and whenever that happened, I would say and we said this a couple months back, like I thought he was put in the fatal 4-way.
The
quadruple threat. I always call it the quadruple. We're calling it a quadruple threat. So anyway, he was put in that match, and didn't win. But like I thought, he's the most credible guy to still defend AEW, take back that belt. So to me, he has to, and we'll talk about this more in a couple weeks as we predict. But like he has to be the guy. And if you're using MJF as the platform to try and elevate him to this the hero, right? Because that's what MJF was alluding to. He's like, you're the hero in all this. You're the, what do you call him? Like the center of attention. I forget who already said it. But if that's how you're going to position, perfectly fine with it, because there's nobody else to defend AEW now that you just kind of, I'm going to say, wasted Omega on another Okada feud, seemingly.
Takeshita.
Well, with Takeshita, but like, yeah.
But sort of OC, that's going to be a triple threat, I'm assuming.
So I'm really excited to see where it's go. I think it could elevate Hangman. I think he's the next in line to take that belt. And if you get him enough momentum as the white knight that saves AEW, I'm okay with it.
I don't know. I got feelings about feelings. We'll talk about more when we get to Revolution.
Fair enough.
I got a lot of feelings about this.
But any other takeaways from AEW Dynamite? Let us know in the comments below. What are all of your AEW takeaways from this week? Anything in particular you want to talk about? Again, the Cope situation. Lisa, are you coping with it? Are you watching Dynamite to see your man?
No, Lisa, don't. Leave the memories alone.
Did you like the Ricochet stuff? I thought Ricochet did another great fire promo with Ricochet and Prince Nana, because Ricochet has Prince Nana's robe. So keeping him kind of a collector of sorts, and that little psychotic, like, what's it called? Oh my God. Not mass murderer. What's the word I'm looking for? We always watch those documentaries.
Serial killer?
Serial killer. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. The serial killer.
I don't care. Also, Ricochet I could care less about.
I think Ricochet's doing the best work of his career right now. And I'm excited to see what comes next. Lisa says nope, she will not cope with.
Watching Grand Slam and mostly the Mariah May Toni match. God damn it! Put Nigel McGuinness on Dynamite. I don't want to hear Ian Riccaboni. I just want to hear Nigel talk. Oh, Booker T is my least favorite announcer, maybe of all time. Maybe of all time. I can't listen to Booker T talk. I feel like Big Joseph is just trying to hold it together.
Yeah.
That's it. Also, I didn't watch. Or something like Michael Cole talks about the shit going on with Corey Graves. Also, apparently Carmella's contract expired.
Yeah, that'd be another interesting one.
But I haven't. There was just, it was kind of I didn't really go reading the articles, but like it makes sense because she got drop foot after she had the baby, and like I don't think she's really athletically have come back from that.
Yeah, but she could be a person. Like, she's a great personality. I'm surprised that they wouldn't use her for not necessarily a GM thing, but like some sort of on screen.
But also, she just had a baby. Does she just want to sit home or be home with the baby? And she's got all the other. She's got her wine, cup of cognac.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know, but anywho, that might be kayfabe or non-kayfabe news next week.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe a little hint.
But Nigel McGuinness forever.
So let us know in the comments below what were your takeaways from AEW this week. Did we miss anything? Did you like anything? Did you hate
Hannah?
Everything. We'll get to it and read it all in the comments. But Nikki, we got one more show to get to as we preview and get takeaways from last week's SmackDown. The Valentine's Day edition, because there's not a lot of love going on in the bloodline right now. Solo loves Jacob, but it doesn't seem like he's feeling the love back.
So let me redeem all myself tonight. 'Cause I just need one more shot, second chances. Is it too late now to say sorry?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not in these production meetings, and this song started playing. I was like, It's like, I'm missing more than just your body.
Yeah.
And you see Jacob take off his shirt, like,
Yeah.
oh, honey.
Listen, Nikki, this show is all about inclusion for everyone.
Yeah, right on. I'm right here for you.
I agree with this. But,
But it seems like tensions rising between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu as we head towards SmackDown.
the rumored Mania match.
So what are your thoughts, Nikki? What are you thinking? What's next for the new Bloodline members? There's a lot going on. There was a scheduled match for tonight, but I don't know with The Rock. There's rumors that it got...
With 3 hours, you can't... Again, is The Rock going to talk for an hour? Oh, Lord.
So apparently the scheduled match was a 6-man tag with the new Bloodline against Braun Strowman, Cody Rhodes, and Damian Priest. There's rumors that has gotten scratched because, as you said earlier, The Rock is coming back to SmackDown. What do you expect The Rock to do?
I'm really hope to say, hey, next year we're going to have Mania here. Bye. I don't want to hear an hour promo from The Rock. I really fucking don't.
I don't know why you hate The Rock.
Because in 1999, he was feuding with my Triple H, and I won't have it. I won't.
Yeah, you're really upset.
Good. But I don't like...
From the bottom of my heart, man to man, fuck your story.
I want to say that to him, like, fuck his story. Like, I don't need him coming, and it's like, there was a meme I saw on Facebook today. It's that AJ Undertaker meme for the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 35. And it's like AJ's like smiling, and you see the Undertaker. It's like Triple H booking WrestleMania. The Rock comes back. I was like, I don't get out of here. Make your cute little announcement. Say your little lines. Like, The Rock has come back, and look at my goosebumps. Blue, blue, blue. If I don't want him to do anything, don't be in a match. Or do it.
He's such a big name.
Was it WrestleMania?
You heard it here first, folks. Nikki saying The Rock don't be in a match.
Yeah, I am. What was it? Steven, I'm sure you'll correct me. 33, 34, when he came out with he did the fire launcher or whatever it's called, and then he just like rock bottomed Eric Rowan for no reason. Do one of those. Or like when John Cena sat in the crowd and he came out and just got like tombstone by the Undertaker. Like, let's do something a little stupid fun like that. Like, I don't need him to be at SmackDown every week and cut a promo on Cody. Like, I want
to say maybe Dwayne coming out tonight is the catalyst for the new Bloodline fully falling apart.
Good. Then let's do something like that. As long as it's like, but then I would thank you, Steven. But then if he comes out and cuts a promo on Solo, like, it seemed like it's to me like when John Cena cut that promo on Austin Theory, and even though Austin Theory went over, like, it literally did nothing for Austin Theory. I'm worried if The Rock comes out and cuts a promo on how shitty Solo is, I don't think Solo can recover.
So what if, and he's cut the promo on him, but what if the storyline is like, to Lisa's point, it's about the bloodline, right? Everything's about the bloodline. The Ulafala was lost. What if The Rock said, listen, like, because I think...
He's like a high chief.
They made mention that because the next, like, there's like a hierarchy to who can be tribal chief to some extent. So I think if you said that, like, I don't know how it was, but like Jay couldn't do it, but then why didn't Jimmy challenge for it, right? So like Solo could challenge for it for some reason. So like, I don't know, maybe there's some hierarchy to this where The Rock said, listen, I gave Solo the opportunity to become the tribal chief, and he didn't prove himself worthy. Now, as a high chief, I'm coming to claim what's rightfully mine. Like that, that's a match that could 100%, like, again, we've talked about Rock Roman for years now, probably 3+ years. And on the heels of last year's WrestleMania, how do you make a bigger WrestleMania? That's the only way to do it. But it seems like there's still that triple threat idea of that gets Punk his WrestleMania main event, where it's Punk, Roman, Rollins, and again, that's still a great match in itself too. But I don't know. To me, I mean, if I think I could sell you, Nikki, on a Rock Roman and a Punk Rollins standalone at WrestleMania, like both of those two without the belt.
And then I'm fine. If he wants to just wrestle Roman by himself, again, that shouldn't mean. To me, that should not mean. It probably will night one, but it shouldn't. Again, I'm the wrong person to ask anything Rock related, John Cena related, because I'm like, fuck that, fuck them, fuck your story. I don't care. Again, I know what he means to the business. I'm like, I get it. Again, that's kind of the impetus of not how our podcast started, but like how it kind of took off was we talking about so much how that story was all the twists and turns last year. I don't know if you can recapture that for this, and then if you're just going to come back to challenge Roman, but Roman's also a baby face at this point. You're after Rock turned face on Netflix debut. Like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense at this point.
Or is he face? Is he just playing?
Flip flop, snip snap. Okay.
He can do whatever he wants. He's the final boss. He would face.
I don't recognize him as my high chief, my tribal chief. My final boss. I already have a shitty boss. I don't need another shitty boss. Get out here. But again, people who like The Rock, let us know. What do you think The Rock's going to do? Do you think he's just going to make the announcement, or is there more to come? I want Jacob to mess him up. Be interesting. So the other scheduled matches before we get ready to open up the phone lines here, the World Tag Team titles are on the line tonight. Pretty Deadly will get their shot. Yeah, boss. I love Pretty Deadly, and I know they're just, the comedic foil, and they'll take all the pins, but I really do love them, and I really wish they're getting a little more screen time, but I really love, obviously not winning, but I love that they're getting a title match on TV, because I really love them. Yes, boy. Yeah. Still, actually, now the fact that they're kind of still like, I guess, faces to some extent, and she's a face, I still love the idea of putting them with Tiffany Stratton. I think that 1-2 week, whatever it was. I think the ship has very much sailed on that. Why? Is it because they work better as faces? I don't know. Again, you and heels, face heel. I don't care. As a heel group, they would be much better. I mean, it works out. The group, the gimmick works out way better. But still, yeah. I think this is just another. I agree with you. It's more of a transition along to getting DIY to potentially WrestleMania. Steven, I know you called in a couple times expecting some sort of like Ultimate X type tag team match at WrestleMania. That might be there. I think they're either doing that with the tag match, or they're doing something like that with the one mid-card belt. There's going to be either a ladder match or some sort of you can do a ladder match one night and do the X Division match the second night. I think regardless, whatever match it's going to be, I think Machine Guns are taking the belts back off DIY at Mania. I know, Steve. I know you like it. Give me. Give me. But yeah, let us know what you think is going to happen. We got a lot going on, Nikki. We are about to open up the phone lines. It's been a fun run. Before we do that, make sure you hit the old like and subscribe if you haven't already. It goes a long way with the channel. So here's how it works. As we open up the phone lines, in the description below, there is a call-in link. StreamYard link to call in. It's also in the comments. I pinned it there a couple times. I think I pinned it or I started, whatever that. It seems like it should do it, but who's to say? That being said, let us know what you're thinking, what you're drinking this week in professional wrestling. What are your takeaways, right?
AEW, WWE, TNA.
I know. Apparently, Joe Hendry and Elijah had a concert together
Yeah.
at Full Sail University, which is banana pants.
I know, a lot of craziness going on. So
Ricky has a new last name.
Ricky Saints. That's another one. Ricky Saints.
It's not terrible. Again, it's gonna be I feel like we all were like, "Ginger, get the fuck out of here!" And then now it's just commonplace. I feel like Ricky Stark, Ricky Saint, like it could have been a lot worse. So again, wanting WWE to have the trademark, and also he owns the trademark for Ricky Stark, so he can, he can still sell those shirts in pro wrestling tees. But no, there been worse names. Ricky Saint, I'm okay with. And also, it makes sense because he's from New Orleans. The Saint.
Yeah, he said he's very, very big.
I really
Hometown, all that
I
stuff.
really miss his AEW music though. That's just like the trumpet just like I feel like this is his NXT song is a little more rappy. And I'm just like
No, that's fair. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean it's generic because that's kind of how they tend to. I mean,
no, I think I don't know, between I forgot the name of the guy. Is it Mickey something who does the AEW music? And then Def Rebel is dog awful. So I think AEW has better music than but no.
Well, generic. It's interesting. It's a good time.
I think the songs are more fitting. Again, like how many? It's the famous thing that Seth Rollins last year during the Royal Rumble. Someone's music hit, and he was like, "Who is that?" And it's like, how many times when we were watching it here that like you're waiting to see the Tron because like every fucking song sounds the same.
Fair enough. Well, Nikki. That being said,
Kame.
I know you got a lot to talk about. I know our listeners want a lot to talk about. So, Nikki, my blondie, hit the snare. All right, Nikki.
Yes.
Phone lines are open.
Yes.
To make sure we get to them. And if you are a regular, they get priority. So, Nikki, let's start with a regular.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Steven.
Steven!
Happy Friday, one and all.
Happy Friday to you, sir. Steve, what are you thinking? What are you drinking?
Oh, man. If they announce it's in New Orleans, that's going to be pretty tempting.
Oh, you'd go? Yeah.
I'm on the fence because I saw the crowds on Bourbon Street during the game a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, true.
Not at all.
Yeah, they were packed in there.
Yeah, no joke. But we'll see.
Then you'd have to call us from New Orleans.
Yeah, I can give travel tips to anybody who does intend on going. Oh, you got to eat here and stop in here for a drink. And
Yeah.
a drink or four,
Fair enough. So, Steve, what are you thinking?
Oh, where to begin? Oh, where to begin? One of the confrontations that I saw that I'm really excited about. We were talking about big men slapping the man meat. What about Obafemi and Moose?
Oh, yes. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. So, okay. I'm glad you brought that up because there's a couple things. So, I'm really hyped about this, and a lot of people have been really hyped about the Obafemi Moose thing. And I literally thought Obafemi looked, and maybe it's because it was NXT, whatever. So you're gonna try and make them look better, but like on the mic, he appeared so much more polished than Moose did, and Moose looked like fumbling his work. It just didn't seem like concise and clear about what he wanted. And like all these years we've been waiting, like at least a couple of years, like you have all this time to cut a promo and make yourself relevant to this universe that knows you and wants to see you there, and that's what you come up with. And it was just a little disappointing.
Yeah, and it's not like Moose is new to the business either.
Right.
Yeah, he's been around. He's pretty accomplished. But it may be a case of, he's one of the bigger fish in the small, comparatively smaller pond of TNA. And now I know it's NXT, but still, he's on. I mean, NXT is now a network TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You want to call the CW a network, but I think officially they are. But still, could have been nerves because I've heard him say in interviews, he's been wanting to. I don't know why he didn't sign with them when his last contract was up, but I mean he's been wanting to work with them for a while now.
Right, and I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was just nerves. Like it was just underwhelming. Like I'm not expecting you to blow me out of the water with anything, but just like at least present yourself that you've been waiting for this long to see me for a reason. And there was nothing about other than the fact that he has some title that I don't even know if it's a mid card, but it might be the third title for TNA. I'm not as astute on TNA.
It should be considered their. I don't even know if it's. I think the X Division should be their mid card, but they don't carry it and make it seem like their mid card, right?
I think it is their mid card title. I can't think of anything between that one and the world title. So
it is. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
So, but still, it felt like it's just kind of a fabricated. Like we gave him a belt so that he'd come in seemingly more prestige than he. I don't know. Just a lot about the way that the hype that he came in and what we expected from him with this match that we've been hyping up for at least a year now. Just this underwhelming. Underwhelming is I guess my overall statement. But anyway, go on, Steve.
Yeah, I mean this is one of those matches that we were hoping we were going to get when the agreement was made official.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Hardys coming in next week is another example, and now we are reaping the fruits.
I think it feels a little more even now, even Stevens, because Oba showed up on TNA I believe he saved the Hardys, right? Yeah. So it feels like that, and then Cora Jade's gonna be fighting Masha. Now it feels a little more, we were just getting all their good people and sending them basically nobody. I feel like now with the NXT, the NXT,
what happened here?
men's going to show up on TNA feels like a little more of a back and forth relationship. Steve!
Oh, we lost him? We lost him. Just try and pour a drink for 2 seconds. And I gotta not only work the board, I gotta be director, I gotta be co-host, and I gotta be an IT person. You guys are really making a lot of work for me.
On the line. Love isn't always on time. On the line. Love isn't always on time.
Little tech tip for everybody. What I have discovered recently is that if the phone rings while I'm in the middle of the segment here, it kills the sound. And the only way to get it back is to refresh the browser, and then that takes me all the way out of the room.
Oh.
Yes. Actually, Steven, you have friends. Unbelievable people calling it. So,
Well, all these telemarketers got to call someone.
You're in your car warranty.
Maybe they're just trying to get a sale out of you, and they're just like,
Acknowledge me.
Yeah, they know I'm gullible.
fair enough. But actually, that's a great point because I forget to say that because that's a nuance to calling into the show. Silence your your incoming calls.
Well, you have to also, if you depending on what you're watching on, you'd have to like mute your YouTube and talk to us through StreamYard because then you get the echoey part. I'm thinking Steven has that issue, but
there's also the inbound call. Like his issue is an inbound call, so make sure that you silence your inbound calls or however you
give the FU button to everyone. We're talking wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it was.
But anyway, Steve, go on.
All right. Well, let's talk about The Rock and his other career for a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I heard about this Scorsese deal that he was going to do, and where he's obviously not going to be the lead, maybe a co-lead, but I mean DiCaprio is already booked as the lead, and they're shopping this package around to the studios, and there's this big bidding war, and people get on Dwayne's case here for not being a very good actor. I think it's just mostly because he does crap. I mean, if Martin Scorsese, who's the greatest director alive, as far as I'm concerned, thinks he's talented enough to be in one of his movies, and who am I, a schmuck on his couch, to say otherwise? He's got this other movie he's working on. I don't know if he's done with it or not. The one where he's playing the early era Ultimate Fighter.
Yes, the smashing machine. He has hair in it. And he looks real weird.
The Rock,
something like that. Yeah,
I think it's smashing machine or smash machine.
Yeah, and that's a movie that's being directed by the Safdie brothers, and you may not know them by name, but if you saw Uncut Gems, which again, as far as I'm concerned, that's probably the best movie the last 6 or 7 years. And those guys that's a brilliant movie, and they got such an amazing performance out of Adam Sandler for that. Like seriously, if you haven't seen it, watch it. And I trust them as a judge of talent with casting The Rock in their movie. So
did Adam Sandler say this?
Price is wrong, bitch.
Nobody. The price is wrong.
No, I agree because I agree. The Rock has been in a lot of shitty movies. But also I think again, I'm also a huge Martin Scorsese fan. The Departed is life. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Steven, mark your calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
He has such
that show's gonna be fun. Sorry to cut you off, but that show's gonna be fun. Irish wrestlers. We're gonna do the Ides of March as well. That wrestling betrayals. Oh, it's gonna be a fun one.
And then when is it? The 15th? Put the 15th in your calendar, Steven.
Yeah.
But he has such The Departed is one of my favorites. It's my St. Patrick's Day go-to watch. That he has these big ensemble casts, Departed packed, Casino packed, Goodfellas packed, Irishman packed. Again, he has such a big name, but he could be a smaller kind of role in it. Again, The Departed with Alec Baldwin wasn't this huge part, but when he was on screen, it made me hysterical.
Yeah,
Wahlberg wasn't a huge part of it, and I nominated. He didn't win. I think he was nominated for supporting.
I think The Rock in this Scorsese film, I don't think it has a title yet, but it's supposed to be set in the Hawaii criminal underground, and I would think that he would be cast as one of the bosses.
Yeah.
In that. And, we'll have to see. I mean, even if it's a failure, I mean, Martin Scorsese's failures are much more interesting than a lot of directors' best efforts.
Right.
And we can only hope that from The Rock's experience between these two movies, that he happens to learn something to bring it to his other job that we are all going to see, in terms of not only performance, but teamwork. Lack of, not lack of, but selflessness.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and working together rather than this spot is mine.
Or the opposite, does he lure away the whole bloodline to be in this movie as his underbosses? This is my right-hand man, and it's fucking Roman Reigns.
Hey, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, eventually we're gonna lose Roman probably too.
Yeah. I think that's a given.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, I mean, that's the next step. So it's a fair point. Fair point. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what's next. What comes with The Rock tonight. We'll see very shortly. We're only a couple, 20 minutes out. So very, very soon. I think he might open. I think
he's got to open.
Right? Yeah, you can't announce it last minute and then not have him open. But we'll see. Steve, we'll let you go. Last shot here.
One last shot. I had heard this last week about Jordan Grace, who's, I know not been there very long yet, but doing a pretty excellent job so far. Effectively taking a pay cut to join the WWE. I mean, her salary with the WWE is certainly higher than what her salary was in TNA, but she had to give up all her ancillary incomes and her indie dates and whatnot. So she's actually making less money, so at least at the start. And I thought that is commitment to the dream right there. And plus, I think it's going to pay off for her in the long run. Because she's going to make a killing at merch sales, I'm sure.
Well, I think that's part of her thought process, right? It's like the exposure too that she's going to have is probably magnified. Like, I think a lot of these. So I'm reminded a lot of, like, I used to book concerts way back like 10 plus, 15 plus years ago, and bands would get their guarantee. Like every band, like Bruce Springsteen, whatever, gets their guarantee, and I think that at some point in time they get their cut of like merch and everything else. And the idea that for her, her guaranteed salary, she might get a bunch more dates that she could do right individually, and she can book more dates and get more individual paydays. But the exposure for her, just even on the merch level worldwide, that she would get with the WWE banner is probably worth. I would argue just the merch alone is probably worth more than the dates that she might get, because that exposure, all those countries, Asia, like that now Netflix exposes her to, and everything else, like that WWE. I know she's not on there, but like everything else that she gets on Raw, whatever, that bandwidth and that reach is way more valuable, in my opinion. So it's I think like it's a commitment to her. Like yes. And her betting on herself, I think, is the most important thing.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's a short-term loss because she'll be on the main roster as soon as like the day after Mania is over. A short-term loss for a longer-term gain that'll end up being much larger than what she had before. It's a good business move.
For sure. Steve, well put, as always. Pleasure having you.
Thank you. I'll talk about the WWE trauma that I learned about today next time.
Yes. Oh.
Wait, what?
Wait, hold on, guys.
You can't leave me on that cliffhanger. What?
Phrase that Meltzer coined that I read about today, where he thinks that some of the WWE wrestlers are so traumatized by having to lose with whatever frequency they were losing at, that when they go to other places or do indie dates, they absolutely refuse to lose. So Meltzer coined that WWE trauma.
And
I think he was referring to, you know, people like Mercedes and Moxley and Cope to a lesser degree, Jericho.
Because you were like in WWE, you should be winning on in any other indie or wherever you go. Is the idea is that he's kind of presenting? Does that sound?
I think it'd be the opposite.
Yeah, something like that. They insist on not being the one to lose because their booking in WWE was such that they had to lose with some regularity.
Right. Yeah. So like a guy like, let me give you an example. So a guy like this happens all the time in the indies now. Like love him to death. Hope to have him on the show at some point in time. Our friends Gremlin House Wrestling, one of our partners here, they had on Nunzio. So we'd love that. Like Nunzio is a great example. Like, unfortunately, friend of the show, Zach Ruby, he went over on Zach Ruby and his group. And like Nunzio in every other, even in ECW, didn't win much to my recollection. And same thing, it's just like, hey, I'm at a bigger promotion, even though I'm not a star at a bigger promotion or the main star. Me being a mid-carder, same thing, like me being a mid-carder at a big promotion equals me being a main eventer at a lesser promotion. I think that's kind of the mentality that some of these folks have. And I don't necessarily disagree. But there's also some level of like giving back to the people that you're with to put over somebody that's at that promotion to keep the business moving.
Right. That should be the attitude.
Yeah.
You know, if boss tells you to job, you job.
Exactly. So Meltzer's kind of hinting at that they're
I mean, like,
not willing to.
Look at Mercedes. Look at fucking Cope. Like, I do like this. Really makes me not like Adam Copeland. Edge.
Sorry, Lisa.
I'm sorry. Lisa agrees. Like, he's just like not.
Lisa, you can call in and defend your man. Or
not defend him. I was like, I can't stand him, and like you're bringing nothing. And then same with Mercedes. Like, you're not. If you're such hot shit, then especially more, I guess, Mercedes. Like, if you're such hot shit, like,
yeah,
WWE would have done something to keep you.
Exactly. They don't have.
I don't know. Maybe because I'm also not maybe a huge Mercedes fan, and I get RIP.
Listen.
Why are you screaming?
No, just because.
Say his name and he appears.
Steve, I'm leaving you on for this because you have to defend yourself. Because we're going to have a run in here.
What is happening?
Gee, who's coming on?
You made me a believer.
Steve,
I'm not defending, actually.
Like,
ooh, it's a panel show now.
All our friends, all our regulars.
Hi, Steven.
Hello, Lisa.
How you guys doing?
It's like Steven's in shame now.
I'm not. No. I totally agree. When I heard that Edge Cope, whatever the hell you want to call him, when he was going over to oh my God, AEW, Jesus Christ.
AEW.
I was like, really? Like, come on. You said you were done, you were retiring, and like, go be with your family. Why do you gotta go to this place? I'm not happy.
Because I know he said he did everything in WWE and wanted to do something else, which I understand. But you're not, again, at his caliber, his age, the run that he had, you should bring up the other kids. Anyone that has had a match with him that's been lower card has gotten nothing. It's the same thing I fucking say about Chris Jericho. In his learning tree, he's putting 0 people over in their
He wanted one last run with his friends before he finally officially retired for good.
Yeah, then he broke his fucking leg, and him and Christian couldn't be farther apart from each other. That's my fear, and I was going to save this to resolution, but we're all friends here. My fear is Cope is going to take the belt off Moxley. Christian's going to come in with his contract and take the belt off Cope, and then we're going to have Christian as champion. And I don't want any of that to happen. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Because then you were saying, like, oh, well, then whoever wins MJF or Hangman is going to go after this belt. But I was like, Christian's going to have it. And you're so heel face. It's a heel Christian who's a chicken shit who cashed in his little thing on his friend. And then I have to watch a Christian and Edge, another thing for the world belt? No, thank you.
Yes, and how about a peep show? Not peep show, what's it called? 10-second pose. Do a 10-second pose.
Yeah, they're fighting.
Do it. Just like after they beat the hell out of each other. That seems like an AEW thing to do.
If he's going for the world championship belt and basically he's got a little clipboard that said he can have an opportunity, they're going to feud. And I don't want it.
Don't need it.
No.
Don't need it.
Exactly. Then they should have like just been turn Christian face, have their little 10-second pose, have your little ENC connection tag team run, and then be done.
5-second pose, by the way.
It's 5 seconds?
5-second pose.
Oh, well, we can't. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 20 minutes. It's going to be 20. Again.
Because we can't move too quickly.
It's going to be an hour. Again, like talking back to the Hangman MJF promo off, that was 20 minutes. That probably should have been 8 to 10. And if their pose was 5 in WWE, it's going to be an hour of Tony Khan's of just of like, ugh, I don't want it. I don't want to bring up your again. I say this like, where's your Daniel Garcia? It's like literally every person that Cope has fought in AEW. Like, what did that do for Aleister Black? He fucking left.
Lisa, what are you drinking? What are you thinking? We brought you in as like a run-in just because.
You guys are saying, oh, she's going to defend him. I'm like, no, I'm actually not going to defend him. He's stupid and going.
You keep saying that. I was like, Lisa, I'm talking about your boy, but you're going to agree with me. And then you're like, yep. And it's like, she loves him. And I was like,
I know what you two are thinking.
You just made the list.
Love that Jericho. Hate this Chris Jericho. Ugh.
That's one of the reasons why I never got into AEW, because it kind of reminded me of TNA, where TNA back in the early 2000s, whenever it was, when they started becoming big, they had their wrestlers. They had AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and the list goes on of these their names that they could have done so much with and built up, and they were for a little while, and then these WWE people started coming in and they were getting more and better treatment than the TNA wrestlers. And I started seeing it with AEW. I was like, screw this. I'm not watching it when every single week it's like, oh, well, guess who's AEW now? I don't care. They left WWE when Jey Uso left for the hot second. And, oh, Jey Uso is AEW now. I'm like, oh, my God, stop. Where are the AEW guys? This is ridiculous.
The contract is up there.
Yeah.
Like Carmella's going to be, you wait for the memes for Carmella to be AEW like next week. Like,
oh, yeah. Her and Corey are going to go together. She got drop foot. When she had the baby, she got drop foot. And I wanted to Google it, but I was afraid because I don't want to see feet pictures. But apparently it's just like your, like all the muscle in your, like your leg and your foot just kind of like literally like drop. And you have to build all the muscle back up in your leg. And also, you just gave birth to a baby.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Again, I've never done any of those things, but it sounds super fucking painful. And especially, like, obviously, you need all that muscle strength. Again, like, sort of like whatever contract shit Alexa had. Like, she had the baby 2 years ago, and she's just coming back. Like, it's not something I feel like maybe Becky bounced back, like, a year later? Like, super quick. But, like, I giving birth to a human child is kind of a big deal.
Fair.
But like, I don't know. I don't see her going anywhere else. But like, I don't know, it's hard because I love that there is AEW because again, competition breeds, raises all the ships, and then there's people who can go, like, again, if you didn't like being in WWE or didn't like working with Vince McMahon, there's other places you can go. So I love that. But it's just like, and again, like, I go back to Swerve and Toni, like, didn't really do much in WWE, and now they're stars in AEW. And then I think with, the ups and downs of Ricky Stark-Saint in AEW, I think he's going to be a star in WWE. And I think you can have that crossovers, but don't just rely. I was like, oh, I'm from the other place, I should be a thing.
Amen.
Preach!
I was just about to say that.
Fair enough. Lisa, what else you got for us tonight?
So I don't know if you guys saw or heard, Shane McMahon and Tony Khan were apparently in a meeting.
Oh,
yeah. So that was huge. So it came back around in the news that they did have this magical meeting at an airport conference room, and someone magically took a photo.
Yeah.
But apparently Shane wanted equity or to also run AEW, and then Tony ghosted him. Like he wanted
12. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
Steve
say
chimed
that.
in. Hold on. What do you say, Steve?
I said because Tony's 12.
Basically.
You can't have it. It's mine.
Yeah. But basically they had that little airport rendezvous, and then Tony never called him back.
Yeah. Tony spoke with Shane, and Shane gave him his idea, and Tony was like, hated it.
Yes.
But it would have been banana pants having a, because at this point, obviously, Vince is not around. And to have Shane McMahon show up on AEW would have been so crazy. But I think Shane thinks he's this, like, mastermind of wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, God. What is the MMA WrestleMania when Brock won and Ronda won? Which also was a thing. Apparently, Vince wanted Ronda to throw out all other 29 women in that match. That just came out this week. I'm like, I would have vomited everywhere.
29.
She also, coming back from having a baby, Vince wanted her to throw out every single person out. Thank God whoever stopped him.
Yeah.
But also in that Mania, like, Shane McMahon, like, kind of booked himself up
to win everything.
I think he just thinks very highly of himself. So he's like, oh yeah, Tony, I'll come and run this.
Like, you never won anything. Did he win the hardcore title? Right?
Was he European?
Or was he European? One of them.
Both?
Hold on. I'll figure it out. Keep talking. Talk on
Fact check.
But Lisa, what are your because if this is new to you, what do you think about Shane and Tony?
I literally thought it was gonna be like the ECW, WCW thing back in the day. Shane coming on, being like, I took over AEW, and oh my God, I don't know if I've been able to handle it.
It would have been a ratings pop for sure. Seriously.
Probably their top ratings ever.
It used to be like, again, like 2019, I think 2020, I think they were doing pandemic wrestling a lot better than WWE was. But I remember like 2019, 2020, like fond memories. And I think they were beating out Black and Gold NXT. And I just feel like at some point we just tipped the other way.
Right? It's momentum.
I think it's the bloating of the roster. Yeah. And I think that the WWE got to that point when like the Black and Gold brand for NXT was so big and they had so many people and then they weren't doing jack shit with. And now I feel like it's flipped the other way and Tony Khan has this huge roster that he's not doing anything with.
Ooh.
What did you do?
No, I thought. No. Messing with links. But yeah, no, good point. Lisa, before we let you go, your last shot as isn't embarrassed because you're both on the same page for him.
Oh God. I to be very honest, I wasn't planning on coming on tonight because I'm I'm still like I'm cleaning up and doing laundry and stuff. So I was just like listening in. But when y'all like, oh, she's going to defend Edge, I'm like, I'm coming on to tell you all I'm not defending Edge. He was an idiot.
Name it or claim. Not down to cope with cope.
I ain't coping with cope.
Got it.
Not a cope addict.
Not a cope addict.
Oh Lord.
Nope.
Well
Cope
cut.
fiend, whatever.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, well done. Pleasure.
Love you
Lisa,
guys so much.
You, ma'am, are cut off. Steven, you, sir, on that note, are cut off as well. Fun times.
Another fun one. I love this 4-panel.
Yeah, we're just mixing it up tonight. Just a little something different.
A little mixer. A mixer at the bar.
Yeah, just a little something different. Yeah. Couple of great calls.
He's a
Love
real
it.
ring-a-ding-dong dandy. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Or you could argue it was
Banger. After banger. After banger.
and we can
I like that one better.
throw those out coming soon too. We're like 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks away from your favorite holiday.
3 weeks?
St. Patrick's Day bash.
My high holiday kids. So get ready.
Yeah, St. Patrick's Day bash next week, or in a couple weeks. Excuse me. Next week, not next week is actually our fun WrestleMania Madness.
If you get March Madness brackets, this is the show for you.
This is the show for you.
Maybe Nick will explain it 600 times and you still won't get it, and he'll get mad at you on the show.
Or maybe you'll listen. Just don't listen.
Nope.
So, WrestleMania Madness, next Friday, we're opening with that, as well as our preview for Elimination Chamber. We might also do a pop-up show sometime this weekend for WWE LFG. We talked about that offline. So we might be, at some point in time, Sunday afternoon, popping on to talk about the first episode and maybe doing a weekly-ish, shorter, condensed show. Condensed down spot for LFG. So that'll be kind of a fun for sure. Anyways, always a pleasure having everyone in. Before you go, hit the old like and subscribe on your way out if you haven't already. So let's take us out the only way we know how to before we have 15 minutes before SmackDown starts with hopefully the Rock opening, in my opinion. Let's let his arch enemy, Nikki, take us out.
Thought we had a spectacular event tonight. Very excited that so far everybody seems to have come out unscathed. You know, banged up, bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously injured, which I always hold my breath on these events. You want to see people have the best outing that they can possibly have and make memories, but do it safely. And we were able to do that tonight.
Able to do that tonight. Another nice night without incident or injury. I'm very proud of all of us. So until next time, you do not have to go home.
But you can't stay here, and goodbye.